All right, here we are. More transcription of J.G. Zimmermann's Solitude. Good morning, or good day, not that much, Tess. How was the kickoff yesterday? It went very well. It was really interesting how much I had made of it in my mind when it went so very well for everybody else. Really, I was just along for the ride, watching the team execute what they do and learning. It's good though that I was anxious, as it put me in a state of readiness. But I'm feeling much better about it today. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. All right, let's continue. Let's listen to some more rain from Thailand as we have another long slog like yesterday. Yesterday I felt a little bit anxious because the clock was running down, and I had so much to transcribe. And here we go. Let's listen to some rain. All right. Hey, good morning, Maddie. And not that much. Thank you, Des. Thank you for your well wishes. And yesterday, we did it. We got through the. This was some heavyweight stuff, largely because not heavyweight in terms of the content, but in terms of there's a lot of words here because this is small 8-point font content subtext. I think it's going to be hard. I don't know if you guys saw. I was really struggling at the start because I was reading things wrong. I was trying to take over from here, this bottom down here, which is another subtext. The guards who attended him after having sought, and then up here I was like intentionally, and I was like, wait, what? And then, but I forgot that that's the continuation of the subtext here for a long time. So I had um, basically two streams of text crossing one another. I couldn't get myself out of that. So let's try this. Let's try to read this. Beginning. I'm getting myself confused here. Again. Got to stay with the mainline text here. And it's so complicated because this mainline goes over 3 pages now. So let's start here. The restless and ambitious Pyrrhus hoped that ease and tranquility would be the ultimate reward of his enterprising conquest. Frederick the Great discovered, perhaps unintentionally, there I did it. See, I put the same word in there. Unintentionally, intentionally. Let's take that out. How pleasing and satisfactory the idea of tranquility was to his mind when, and we won't learn the rest of that till tomorrow. Okay, so that's good. That crosses over three pages there. Now let's go to the subtext. Pyrrhus, I know I'm saying it wrong. The celebrated sovereign of Epirus was the descendant of Pyrrhus, the son of Achilles and Didania, and king of Cycros. While he was yet an infant in his nurse's arms, the chance of war deprived him at once of his father and his throne. Cassandra, king of Macedonia, eager to destroy the infant prince, assailed the dwelling in which he was said to have been placed. But his fond and faithful attendants, Androslides and Angelus, on the first news of his father's fate, had conveyed him to a place of safety in the kingdom of Iria, whose sovereign Galactus generously educated him as his own son, and when he had arrived at the age of 12 years, placed him by the power of his arms on his native throne. Nurtured amidst the clang of hostile arms, war appeared to be his sole delight. Hold on, you have to have a good pause there. Pause. Nurtured amidst the clang of Nurtured amidst the clang of hostile arms, war appeared to be his sole delight, and he indulged his restless, enterprising disposition in successive and obstinate conflicts with the Macedonians, Teresians, and other neighboring powers. On giving battle to the consul Leonus near Heraclea, he gained a complete victory, but the carnage was great, and almost equal numbers killed on each side. Alas, exclaimed the conqueror, on viewing his surviving troops, if I gain such another victory, I shall return, I fear, almost alone to Epirus. Fond, however, as he appeared of war, he professed to follow it only to procure a solid and permanent peace, and he sent the philosopher Simmus for the purpose to Rome. The philosopher harangued the Senate on the subject of his mission with an extraordinary degree of zeal and eloquence, but the Romans coolly and sagaciously replied, if Pyrrhus really wishes for the friendship of the Roman people, let him first abdicate their dominions, and then the sincerity of his proposals of peace may gain some credit. After a great variety of fortune, he laid siege to Argos, and by the treachery of Arstus, entering the city but having impudent, and by the treachery of Arceus, I didn't read right. After a great variety of fortune, he laid siege to Argos, and by the treachery of Arstus, entering the city, but having impudently introduced his elephants. I remember struggling with this yesterday. It just doesn't read well. Their course, their course was impeded by the narrowness of the streets and by his troops, and his troops were thereby thrown into confusion. The guards who attended him, after having sought for a long time with desperate valor, left their master and sought safety in flight. Pyrrhus, having thrown away his plumed helmet to prevent his being known, extricated himself from the hands of his enemies by extraordinary exertions of valor. He had nearly escaped when a common soldier of Argos darted a javelin furiously in his breast, which the prince dexterously parried with his shield, and he lifted his stanchion to cleave the assailant in two. But the wife of the soldier, who had observed the conflict from the turret of the adjoining house, perceiving her husband's danger, tumbled a heavy stone upon the head of the king and leveled him with the ground, while the soldier advancing cut off his head. Well, that's teamwork. Thus died in the year 272 before Christ a prince equally celebrated for his virtues and his vices. In the intercourse of life he was mild and not easily provoked, but ardent and quick to repay a kindness. Some young officers, during the hours of intoxication, having spoke disrespectfully of him, he sent for them into his presence and asked, there's no thought there, and asked if it was true that they had used the words imputed to them. Yes, my lord, replied one of them. Wait, hold on. Yes, my lord, replied one of them. Yes, there we go. And we should probably have said a great deal more if we could have got more wine. The king laughed at the liveliness of the observation and dismissed the offenders. When some of his courtiers advised him to banish a certain ill-tongued ambassador who abused him behind his back, let the fellow stay here, said he, and speak against me to a few rather than ramble about and give me a bad character to all the world. Describing to Cineas the conquest he intended to make in Italy, Sicily, Libya, Carthage, and Greece. And when we have conquered all these, asked Cineas, I gotta spell that right. And when we've conquered all these, Sincus. When we have conquered all these, asked Sincus, what are we to do then? Why then, said Pyrrhus, laughing, we will take our ease and drink and be merry. And why? Replied I gotta have consistency here. Sincus. Can we not repose and be merry without these conquests? The invention of the game of chess is attributed to this prince. Woo! Okay, we did it. All right. Well, there we go. I think let me do the Control S. All right. Well, we have completed yet another page 35 of J.G. Zimmermann's Solitude. I guess we can go ahead and sign off a little early this morning and take my dogs out. So I hope all of you have a good day, and I'll talk to you again next time. Take care.